I got scared to sleep in the kitchen. So that's how I know I decided to start to sleep underneath the lime tree. I used to take the same donkey pad, spread them underneath the lime tree in the gully to sleep. I actually grew with my great grandmother in the community of Roseville from approximately 2 years until 10 years. My great grandmother, she was born in the community of Moors. She grew up in the community of Moors. She have 8 children. One of her daughter husband had died, and she had 5 boys. And so she in the 60s got the opportunity to go to England. So she was living in Roswell with her husband at the time before he passed away. So then she asked her mother if she could come to Roswell to stay with the kids so she could go to England. So my great grandmother, she agreed to go and spend and look after the kids while her daughter went to England. My grandmother's decision was, as when her daughter took the son them to England, she was going to go back to Moors to live. So her daughter started taking up the kids. I think 2 go first, then 1, then 1, then 1, then 1. So after the final one was taken, she decided she going back to Moors. But so she was building a house in Moors so that when she moved back to Moors, she would move into her house. But at the time when the last one was taken up, the house was never finished. So she decided that she was gonna go and stay with one. So she decided to move back to Moors, and she decided to stay with one of her sons. She had 3 sons that have houses next to each other. So one of the sons is my grandfather, who lives just below the son that she was staying with under the hill. So she said I should stay by my grandfather, because it wouldn't be long. We're just gonna stay there until her house finished. I mean, you know, the house was building, but it wasn't finished. So my grandfather's wife said, no, I couldn't stay there. But my grandfather's wife, she's also my grandaunt, because my grandfather have my father plus 2 others with her sister. So then after her sister passed away, my grandfather married to her. So she's also my grandaunt and my grand stepmom. So she had like, no, I can't stay there. So I had nowhere to stay. I was 10 years at the time. So in those days they have like the outside kitchen, the kitchen outdoor. And so I decided to sleep in the outdoor kitchen when at nights. So now one night I was in there. I mean, I don't know if maybe you're from the country, but we also have where when the donkey, when they tell the donkey to go carry water or to carry cane or whatever, they had some old clothes they used to put on the back of the donkey so that it don't get sore. So we call it pad. So we call it donkey pad. You know, old pants, cocos bag, whatever. So they used to keep that in the outdoor toilet. So I used to take those and spread them, and the kitchen, outdoor kitchen used to be dirt. So I used to spread them in the dirt and lay there to sleep at night. So my grandfather used to work at 7th Estate, the sugar factory. So he would boil the sugar. He was the man who boiled the sugar. So he came home one morning and saw me sleeping in the outdoor kitchen. So he full a pan of water and he threw it at me. And then he gave me some licks and said, listen, you say you mustn't come here. So I had to run. So now I got scared to sleep in the kitchen. So that's how I know I decided to start to sleep underneath the lime tree. I used to take the same donkey pad, spread them underneath the lime tree in the gully to sleep. I mean, one night I was there sleeping, no rainfall in the area, but rainfall, I was like a little gully, and rainfall like up the hill. And I was there sleeping. I hear whoo, anything I start, the gully water was coming. I had to grab my donkey, pat them, and get out of the way. Or else the water would have washed me away, you know. But
So how you ended up from there to going back in school and
ah, boy, it's well, that never lost because like me tell my grandmother she was building the house. So after her house finished, then she moved into her own house. So then I was able to start living with her. So then I started to going to school now and everything. But by then I was like one of those kids who was like out of control. Because I'm growing with my great grandmother and she's an elderly lady. So, I mean, she couldn't really control because I was like under no control. I mean, I go to school when I feel like. Sometimes she send me to school. I go hang with the boys, them. We go, them are cooking at the gully and stuff. That's where I would rather doing that than going to school. And, you know, so she don't know, if I go to school, I don't go to school. Because she sent me to school, but I end up in the gully cooking with the guys, them, and hanging out with them, and, you know, and stuff like that. But that's really, you know.
so when did you see your life turning around where you're becoming conscious? So there's more to life than this.
Well, it's that's why I know God have a plan for me. Because what happened is that in the 80s, when Rastaism, some guy like a Rasta, like a cult, like a Rasta thing was going on. Most people were saying they're like Rasta. So now there is this family that lives in Moors who they were more like the Donald Trump of Moors. They was the only family in Moors with a car. They had the big shop where everybody goes to shop. They own the post office. They own everything. So one of the sons, is the bigger son, he decided that he wanted to be a Rasta. But what happened is that he grew up with helper. So he said, okay, he stopped eating from women. So he's not eating from the helper. But the thing now, he cannot cook. So he needs somebody to cook his food. So that's where I come in now. He asked me to start cook for him. So then I start go by the house, the big house to cook and stuff. So I decided that, I have access to the JP house, you know what I mean, everything in there cooking. So I'm like, I can't be the person where if something missing, people would look at me to say, I took it or whatever. So that's where I decided, no, I can't have my name calling a lot of stuff and come into the JP house. So that's where my life kind of start turning around, where I decided, no, I can't be, so that's how actually my life changes